Shalom. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Racha Kadash, for giving me the spirit and power to make this lesson. Double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone for teaching this truth and ruling well. Wabarakatham unto the elect. All right, this is Brother Gabar from the Great Millstone Dallas branch with another lesson. And I want to go into how the nations are ready for war. As we're at the end, okay, and we hear a lot of wars and rumors of wars. The ultimate war, WW3, Armageddon, is on his way. Let's grab a quick one. This is Revelation chapter 11 and verse 14. The second woe is past. All right, that's World War II. Woe meaning destruction. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly, right? And we know that Yahushai is coming quickly. All right, behold, I come quickly. All right, and he's coming to find faith on the earth. All right, which will be found amongst the elect of the nation of Israel. Okay. Now, going into some precepts. Okay. Let's grab Matthew 24. And I'll start at verse 3. It says, "And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, what shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming, and at the end of this of the world?" All right. And Yahushua told them. So these are the things that we should be looking for, all right, and measuring the time diligently with, all right, so that we can know where we are in prophecy. Verse 4. And Yahushua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, right? I am Christ, and shall deceive many. And he shall hear of war, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. You see, so a lot of wars are going on, and a lot of rumors of wars as well. These are the things that will be happening, all right, in these latter days. Okay, but as it reads on, it says, See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, right? It's prophecy. But the end is not yet, right? Because this gospel ultimately being preached through the four corners of the earth, and then the elect being sealed, that's when the those four angels are on the four corners of the earth, holding back those four winds, which is symbolic for the destruction. That's when they're gonna let go, and it's gonna blow on, the whole earth, the trees and everything, how it says. Okay, the people. All right, but the servants have to be sealed. Okay. Verse 7, it says, For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows, right? So we have wars and rumors of wars, all right, but there's more to come. And ultimately, we got WW3, all right, the third woe coming quickly, all right, and it's specifically also mentioned in the Apocrypha in 2nd Ezra chapter 13, which I'm going to read some of, all right, which is literally the Messiah coming back, all right, and literally putting down all of the heathens' armies. Okay, 2nd Ezra chapter 13, and let me see. I want to go straight to the point, kind of on a time crunch. Let's start at verse 5. It says, and after, matter of fact, I'm gonna read one, then I'll jump down. Verse 3, 2nd Ezra chapter 13 and verse 2. And lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof, and I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heavens, because Yahushua is coming back with the angels. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth felleth when it filleth the fire, right? That blast from that chariot. Okay, as we're about to read, it says, verse 5, And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the men that came out of the sea. Right. Because these nations are going to be fighting each other, busy fighting each other. And then they're going to turn their attention to Yahushua. All right. And try to overtake him. OK. They're going to come with their fighter jets and all of their technology and military force. But it's not going to be enough at all. And it can't be enough. You can't fight against Yahweh Ba'ashem Al-Shai. OK. Verse 6. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain, speaking about the chariot that he's going to come back with, and flew up upon it. Right. So he's going to be on this humongous chariot. All right, verse 7. But I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. So it was so big, like you see on one side of something, you can't see the other side. All right, that's how it's going to cover the sky. The whole sky going to be covered. All right, all eyes are going to be on Yahushua. Okay, in that day. All right, as the scriptures say. Right? Verse 8. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. Right. All right, so they're not going to want to fight Yahweh Ba'ashem Al-Shai. They're not going to want to fight the Lord, but the Lord is hardening Pharaoh's heart, just like he did last time, to fight him. Okay. Verse 9. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth, as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight. Right. So that blast is going to come, all right, from that chariot that Yahushua is coming back on. It's going to fall on all of them that are going to try to subdue Yahushua, which can't be done. All right. As is written in prophecy that he's going to conquer. All right. Yahushua is coming back on a conquest, and he's going to win. And it's going to be righteousness set up forever. All right. A righteous conquest and righteousness set up forever. It says, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up everyone, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. Right. Because he was witnessing all of this. All right. In a vision. As you read in verse 1, he tells you he's receiving this vision. Okay. And he was afraid when he saw that. Right. And the scriptures speak about how the remnant are going to be frightened. You know, they're going to be afraid. Okay. But they're going to give the all glory and praise and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem Al-Shai, as they're safe from that destruction. Okay. But that's how it's going to end. The Lord's going to put them down that way. Okay. Let's read down. Let me see. All right, I'm going to stop there in the second Esdras. Now we can go to Revelation 17 and verse 16. It says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest, well, actually, Slakia. Let's get, I want to read verse 17. Now I'm going to read up. Revelation 17:17. For Yahweh hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of Yahweh shall be fulfilled. See? So the Lord set it up for Esau, Edom, all right, the great whore, Babylon the Great, all right, to be on that beast, all right, 7 heads, 10 horns, all right, the allies and vassal states that, that they have, which is more than 10 now. Okay, but yeah, the Lord set it up that way, and then for them to turn on Esau, Edom. Now we're going to read verse 16. Okay, that's how that fire is going to come. The fire is going to come from the chariots. Okay, and the fire is going to come from them thermonuclear missiles, ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles. All right, Slack if I'm saying that wrong, but I believe I'm saying it right. Okay. Verse 16, Revelation 17:16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Right? Okay? They're going to hate the whore and burn her with fire. Okay? Now, or the biggest part, let me grab. All right, why they're going to hate this whore. As we see, they hate him now, but Babylon the Great keeps money in their pockets. Okay? Keeps a lot of money in their pocket. All right? So they're in bed with this devil. But eventually the Lord is going to have it in their spirit to where they're going to turn. Okay? And they're going to shoot missiles. Right? Let me grab this. Jeremiah chapter 51 and verse 6. Flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Right, but it's not talking about literally grabbing a plane ticket, and getting out of here. Okay? Because the Lord is going to deliver us from wherever we are. All right? And before those missiles touch the soils of Babylon the Great, the elect are going to go up in those chariots, man. All right? They're not going to be destroyed. They're not going to taste that second death. Okay? So this isn't speaking about literally just go. All right? You have to repent. All right? And come out of this place in the spirit. All right? It says, be not cut off in her iniquity. Right? Don't get judged with her. Right? For this is the time of the Lord's Yahweh's vengeance. You see, so this is all the Lord's doing. World War III, getting them prepared with the missiles. All right, that sword being sharpened and perfected. All right, like they have different weapons. All right, ultimately, yes, the missiles, which they have a lot of missiles that are way stronger than Hiroshima. What they said, fat boy, little boy. Those bombs that you see. Those black and white videos, or those videos and stuff where they dropping them and the buildings are just gone after they drop them. Everything just gone and stuff. They testing them and they dropping them in a certain place, all that. Yeah, the Lord has gave them technology on the left hand side, demons, demonic intelligence, all right, on this left hand side to Esau Edom to make these things. He gave the rat the cheat code on how to make the rat trap, and now he's about to fall in it because it's going to fall on him. Right? It says, for this is the time of the Lord Yahweh's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. Right? What's it getting paid back for? Because look at what it has done to the earth, to life itself, to the people of the Lord, the true people, you so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, all that fit the curses in these scriptures, that you can trace your lineage back to one of the tribes, all right, on the 12 tribes list, all right, that we go out and, we have posted up every time we're out prophesying. Okay. Hey, man, Yahweh Shema Shah didn't forget anything you did. Babylon, your sins have reached unto heaven. Now you got to be judged. Let me grab that. That's what all of this is about. Esau Edom going down and getting judged, and Jacob, all right, being rewarded. All right, Revelation chapter 18 and verse 5. Well, let me see if I can. Let me see. All right, I'll get 5 and 6. It says, we might read down. Revelation chapter 18 and verse 5. For her sins have reached unto heaven. I mean, it's a lot. It's caked up. It's laden in iniquity. All right, it doesn't stop. This place is terribly wicked. It's the most wicked kingdom to ever exist. We're in the most wicked time in history. And then we're about to go into the most righteous time in history forever. Okay, that's a good balance. It says, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and Yahweh hath remembered her iniquities. Right, the Lord haven't forgotten. That's the point I wanted to get. The Lord have not forgotten. So you must be judged. And it's going to be through your own craft, these missiles. As you even had Tubal Cain, all right, you go in Genesis, he was the first blacksmith, working with those metals and stuff. All right, creating these weapons and stuff. All right, then you got just like today, you got the movie Oppenheimer. All right, showing you, the spirit of Esau, this destructive spirit. But yeah, the Lord is going to allow him to use these. All right, he's going to allow them to get to a certain point, and then the Lord's going to have these used on him. All right, as he's been using them on people, millions, and really the whole world has been affected by Esau, but specifically the missiles. All right, and so many people that's been affected by that. Well, now you're about to taste, blood, your own blood. Okay, matter of fact, I'll just grab that. Then we'll jump. Ezekiel chapter 35 and verse 6. It says, "Therefore, as I live, said the Lord Yahweh, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Sith thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee." Right, because of what you do, and you just on this bloodshed rampage. Okay, then guess what? Your blood's got to be spilled. Let's go back to verse 5, Ezekiel 35 and 5. "Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword," right? That's their blessing, the sword, "by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity," right? While we're down, okay? "In the time that their iniquity had an end," right? So Esau's been doing all this to us. Now he got to get paid back, because our punishment is up. Now we receive this truth. The Lord is redeeming us, all right, through the blood of Yahweh Shai. And now the elect are about to rise up with the Lord forever. The dead are gonna rise first, all right, of the elect, and then those that are living are gonna be called up together and changed. All of them changed. Okay, that's what's about to happen. Then that recompense, those missiles are gonna come first, and certain things are happening now. But ultimately, Yahweh Shai gonna return, pit down all the armies of the heathen. He's gonna subdue them. All right, he's gonna get rid of them in the valley of Yahweh Shaphat. All right, his decision-making place over there in what they call the Middle East. Okay, the Lord's gonna destroy them all, and he's gonna destroy Babylon the Great. All right, and then it's gonna be the beginning of their slavery, their captivity, for a hardcore 1,000 years of cleaning, all right, and rebuilding the earth and our kingdom. All right, cleaning the earth and building our kingdom up. Okay, because there's gonna be a lot of stuff around, plastic, bodies, different stuff. The nuclear stuff got to get cleaned up, so yeah, because of what you did, you're gonna get judged. All right, and it's gonna be a fierce judgment. All right, now let's grab this. I believe I read this earlier, but Salaki, I don't remember, so I'm gonna grab it again anyway. Jeremiah 51 and 7. "Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad." Right, it ain't literal wine. Esau Edom going around the earth like, "Hey friend, here man, just take a sip of my hooch." Got some moonshine in the back of the Jeep. Nah, man, it's the ways and philosophies, all right, of Babylon the Great that's been pushed out through the whole world. You have Africans and you have Chinese people, and you go look at their cultures and stuff, and they're dressing like Esau now. They didn't dress like that before. They got these suit and ties on and stuff. It's like Esau's the standard. Okay, they follow him. The woman is over the man now. The women have rights. In an aspect of we can delete our babies if we want, which is crazy. In more and more things. The list can go on forever. As the scriptures say, that the sins are, stacked up to the heavens, man. And the Lord is remembering them now. This is a sign that the Lord is remembering, the iniquity of Esau Edom by raising us up and giving us the spirit back. So then we get delivered and they go down. You see? But hey, the point is that the nations are mad about all that, man. All right, how everything is going and how the earth is destroyed. The nations are mad, man. The low morals of this place is decayed Babylon, and it's decaying the rest of the world. Just the lowest everything has been. All right, and somebody got to pay for that. All right, so now the nations are mad. They're mad, they're angry. So that's going to lead to them burning this whore with fire. You see, back in that Revelation 17 in verse 16, I believe, how they're going to hate the whore and burn it with fire, even the allies of this place. All right, because nobody really likes Esau, man. You know, they just in it for their come up, you know. But he's a devil, man. All right. Now, let's get Joel 3:9. It says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. All right. So it's not a time of peace. It's not a time of focusing on their agriculture so much. What is everybody doing? They're in this AI arms race. All right, they're at war. Okay, different things are moving. Okay, because they're also got this agenda. They're pushing this NWO. All right, that they're trying to get done, which it can't be completed. Okay, so everything is focusing towards this war, man. All right, and the missiles and making them better. All right, just like they had those missiles back then that I was speaking of earlier. All right, and I remember I was watching the I believe it was a Joe Rogan podcast, and there was a woman on there. I forgot her name, Salakia, but she talks about, you know, the missiles and devastation of them and how it can't be stopped. Okay, but she also explained how the missiles back then were bigger, and they said the missiles now are smaller, you know, or at least certain ones, you know, because their objective was they want more damage and they want to be smaller, you know. So that sword is sharpened. Let me grab that. That sword is being sharpened, you know, because a sword will cut, but you can also sharpen it. All right. And it can be even more deadly. All right. All right. Let's grab Daniel chapter 7 and verse 18. It says, but the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. Right. All right. We're going to take this kingdom, the earth, the rulership upon the earth, and we're going to possess it forever and ever and even ever. Okay, as the scriptures say, thus said the scriptures. All right, and from that moment on, that's it. Wickedness will be put down and joy will spring in the earth. The truth will be in the earth. All right, everywhere, you know, and all people will have to acknowledge it, acknowledge Yahweh Shema Shai in all their ways. Okay, because the Lord the Lord is gonna have his men on the earth pushing the law. All right, judgment. All right, with the first great judgment, all right, happening. All right, well, really, I'll say the last. All right, the last great judgment happening to this kingdom. Okay, because everything's gonna be set in order after this. Okay, now Sirach 10 and 8, it says, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. You see? So the kingdom is going to be translated. It's beginning to be translated now as we receive this wisdom. Okay? It's beginning to be translated because Esau is not fit to rule. He's going to kill everything. Okay? He's going to kill everything if he continues to rule. Thus says the scriptures. Right? That no flesh will be saved if the Lord did not cut the time short. Because look at what's going on. All right, look at everything, the moles, the food, the air quality, the water, life quality. Okay, everything is tainted. All right, so the Lord has to deliver us soon, man. We got to get out of here. Okay, but Lord's will, this was edifying, tying in. All right, WW3, World War III. All right, into how that's major prophecy at the end for these nations to fight each other. All right, and Yahushua is going to pull up in the midst of that, according to you got Revelation 13 that I read to you. You go read the whole chapter. Okay, Lord's will, this was edifying. Be on the lookout. Keep your eyes peeled back. You know, wars and rumors of wars, and you know, the small hats in Iran. Okay, and what Putin and Russia's doing, or Babylon. All right, you got to watch it. You know, because this is all a part of prophecy. This is all gonna tie into your salvation, so you can stay ready, all right, and be not caught off guard. All right? Until next time, Kamar Shalom.